We're all set.
Okay, we have a quorum.
I believe so. The only person I don't see is Councilmember Ndebumadu.
Can everyone hear? Okay, well,
You bet.
at this time, okay, if we're good to go, Madam City Clerk?
Yes,
you have
sir.
a thumbs up? Okay,
Yep.
well, great. Well, good evening, everyone. I would like to welcome you to the regular virtual City Council meeting of Tuesday, January 19th, 2021. The time is now 8:01 p.m. At this time, I would ask everyone to please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Madam City Clerk, I would like to affirm for the record that we do have a quorum.
Yes, Mayor, we do have all 7 council members present.
Hey, thank you. At this time, I would like to entertain any motions for agenda additions, deletions, or amendments.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to amend and move old business item A, the city development review policies, to the first meeting.
It's been moved.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second that we remove the item from old business, the city development review policies, to our February meeting. Any discussion? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor, respond by saying aye.
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 Opposed, the same favor. Hearing none, the motion carries. Thank you.
Excuse me, Mayor, just one
Yeah.
point of clarification. Mayor Pro Tem, which meeting in February would you like this moved to?
Our first one, which I assume would be
February 1st?
first, correct? Yeah.
Okay, thank
Thank
you.
Thank you, Madam City Clerk. All right, we will now have citizen participation. Madam City Clerk.
So we have received 4 comments for citizen participation this evening. So I'll go ahead and read them. The first one is from Brenda James, a Bowie homeowner for 23 years. Mayor and City Council, my understanding was that the city had put its plans on hold regarding making any final decisions on the sports facilities for the city of Bowie. The citizens of Bowie want a comprehensive sport program that addresses all ages, special interest sports group, as well as the various sports suitable for our community. The task force has laid out its requirements for an ice arena that includes a second sheet of ice. I believed that the city was committed to keeping the ice arena operational at its current operational level to the extent possible. No major renovations should move forward at this time. I also noted that the task force has not included any costs with its analysis. Because there are so many uncertainties associated with the pandemic, it would be prudent to make sure we have a thorough understanding of our resources before making any additional commitments. Next one is from Carrie Weaver Bridges. Good evening, Mayor Adams, City Council members, city staff, and constituents of the City of Bowie. I hope we are all doing our part to fight COVID-19 by wearing masks and practicing social distancing. These are uncertain times, and this pandemic has lasted longer than anyone expected. I would once again like to praise Mayor Adams for being extremely fiscally responsible with our tax dollars by stopping the construction of a $24 million project that yields minimum usage from the people who pay taxes in this city. I was happy to see that someone took stock in what the taxpayers need and want, and not allow people who do not live in this city to decide how we spend our tax dollars. I would also like to state that once upon a time, ice sports were extremely popular in the city of Bowie. However, as with every progressive city, things change, and that change starts when people move away once they start their own families. Even though your childhood home is still being occupied by your parents, you live somewhere else. I think the one sheet of ice is sufficient for anyone that does not pay taxes in this city. To request more is disrespectful to the people who pay taxes here because we live here. We appreciate the recommendations you made, but let's be clear, these are recommendations. Our focus should be on how to support our schools, elderly, and people who are suffering emotionally and economically during this pandemic. Asking for another sheet of ice just does not seem befitting right now, or ever if you are using my tax dollars. Next one is from Millie Hall, Bowie resident for 22 years. Good evening, Mayor Adams, council members, and staff. I hope everyone is keeping safe during these uncertain times. I would like to thank the Ice Arena Task Force team for their summary report on the ice rink. As I read the report, it stated that Mayor Adams promised the ice rink community a state-of-the-art facility. I do not recall this statement and went back and reviewed previous meetings, and I could not find that statement. I recall the mayor and council members stating that the group should search for companies to get estimates to repair the current facility. I also recall the mayor stating that the council would remain fiscally responsible, and adding another sheet of ice by spending taxpayers' dollars for a state-of-the-art facility is not being fiscally responsible. I may speak for many when I say we would appreciate if everyone, the mayor, council members, staff, ICE task force, and citizens, please, let's respect all of those residents who have lost so much during COVID-19 and are still losing. Thank you. And the last one is from concerned citizens of Prince George's County District 4 and surrounding areas. Good evening, Mayor Adams, council members, and staff. We, the concerned citizens, would like an update on the status of the multi-generational sports complex on Church Road. Thank you. And that's all the comments for citizen participation, Mayor.
Thank you. We will now move. I don't know of any. Do we have any citizen presentations at this time?
No, sir.
Okay, we will now move to city boards and committees. And I would entertain a motion to approve Mr. Andrew Pierce, Ms. Sharon Barry, and Ms. Sonia L. Huntley to the various committees. The first being the Environmental Advisory Committee, being the Economic Development Committee, and the third being the Board of Elections and the Education Committee.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second to make these appointments. All in favor, please respond with an aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same favor. Hearing none, the motion carries. We will at this time move forward with the swearing in of these committee members. Committee members, we will do this all together, and so bear with me 1 second. I would ask that you all Raise your hand, your right hand, and repeat after me. I, and state your name.
I, Sharon Berry,
I, Sonia Huntley,
I, Andrew Pierce,
Do swear or affirm
do swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will
that I will
support
support
the Constitution of the United States
and that I will be faithful
and that
that
I will be faithful
and bear true allegiance
and
bear
bear true
allegiance
to
prejudice,
execute the office of regular member of
execute
the office of
the regular member of
and state the name of the committee
Bowie
election and
Development
education
according to the Constitution
according to the Constitution
and the laws of this state.
and the laws
of
this
this
state.
state.
On behalf of the City Council and the citizens of Bowie, I want to welcome you to the various committees and thank you in advance for your service.
Thank you.
Here,
Thank
here.
you. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. All right. Going now, I would open it up if there are any council members who would like to make any council announcements.
Mr. Mayor, I don't have any announcements per se, but I do. I just received a text message that the constituents are having a tough time with the connection tonight. For some reason, it keeps going in and out. Just FYI.
So if our IT folks could take a look as we move forward, but thank you for bringing that to our attention. And as always, as a council announcement, hearing none from anyone else, I would just like to say we passed a grim milestone today. We have lost over 400 of our friends and family and community members throughout this great nation to COVID. Now, we've reached that point of over 400,000. So on behalf of the entire City Council, I simply say to you, please, everyone, stay safe. Please try to abide by the guidelines that are listed, understand where we are. I strongly support that we follow wearing a mask, washing your hands, doing your social distancing, and more importantly, please don't go out and about unless you have to. You know, it's time now. We need to make sure that we keep each other safe. And more importantly, make sure you continue to reach out on Zoom to your family and friends. And know that even though we're in this dark time, so to speak, with a number of deaths, it's okay to laugh and it's okay to smile. So make sure, as Councilwoman Ndumamadu does on occasion, it's okay to listen to a really bad joke. So, and yes, I put that on you, Councilwoman. But it's okay to smile and laugh because we have to go on. But please stay very safe. Having said that, and not hearing any other at this time, I would like to move to the city manager's report.
Mr. Mayor, before we do that, can I just add, my video is not working, so I just wanted to state I'm on video, but it's just not broadcasting on that end. So for any constituents wondering if I'm present, I am here, my video's on, it's just not showing on the actual screen. I just want to put.
Okay, Council, I'm gonna end to remind you, I actually see you on my end here. And I see on the middle picture it isn't, but on the Zoom itself, I see you. But I see it isn't showing up on the main screen. So, okay, thank you so very much for that. City Manager, and City Manager's report?
Yes, sir. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council, and residents. We, the staff, are focusing on two things here. We're working hard to continue to deliver services to our residents, all the essential services, of course, and others. And of course, we're working hard to get up in the budget preparation process, and I will start my review of the departmental budgets next week. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, City Manager, and thank you to you and the staff and all of the city employees for all you're doing to keep our city running effectively and efficiently during this time. Having said that, I move now to the consent agenda. Entertain motions.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to move that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second that we accept the consent agenda as is. Any discussion? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor, please respond with an aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Opposed, the same favor? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you. We now will move into the new business, the Ice Arena Task Force report. I'll turn it over to city staff.
Well, Mr. Mayor, I think we should turn it over to the chairman of the task force and let them proceed.
Okay, that's fine. I just make sure
Yes,
there's
sir.
no other thing coming. All right. Thank you, City Manager. If you would the chairman please present the report to the City Council and our citizens.
Welcome, Council. I don't know exactly how you guys wanted me to present this, so I'm going on the fly here, not being in person. We sent you the report that we put together. I don't know if you want me to read through it. I don't know how you guys and ladies would like me to do this. I will go by what you want me to do.
Well, sir.
I think we have. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, Mr. Mayor, I think for the sake of the residents out there who may not have the report in hand, he should briefly run through the report and culminate with the recommendations. Thank you.
That's quite true. So, Bill, if you would, please.
Okay, we have 5 Bowie residents on our task force. We were chosen by the City Council, and we were asked to originally look at cost factors for work at the facility. Once that got going, that was determined that was not our purview. That is a government thing that you guys collect bids for prices. It's not for us to request prices. So we were told not to look at what the price factors were and just go through the facility and determine what needs were there. And there was no limit put on what needs. We were told that if we felt a second sheet was necessary, to put it in there. So that's what we moved forward with. We met as a group. We got a tour of the facility. The staff took us all through the electrical portions, the Zamboni portions, the compressor, we even managed to get up on the roof and look at the dehumidification air conditioning system up on the roof. So we got a really good tour of the entire facility and got a good look at it, so we could try to make an informed decision to give to you all. So we started with prioritizing the needs, and I'm going to move this over in front of me so it appears so I can read off of it. We asked for the second sheet of ice because we were told to go ahead and put the grandiose in, and we did. We realized that budgets are a constraint, and we just put it in to put it in. It's the city council, that's your job to determine of this what is necessary. So we put everything in there. The big aspects of the facility are it's a 50-year-old facility. It has been used constantly for 50 straight years. Those that don't know, that concrete slab, they think it doesn't move. That concrete slab actually goes up and down 2 to 3 inches a year as it heaves with ice, forms underneath in the ground, and it lifts the concrete up. So that surface actually goes up and down. It is chilled with an R22 refrigerant, which is no longer legal to use. As it's replaced, it has to be something else. So that system no longer can use the existing refrigerant in it. The dasher boards, originally we found out, were actually put in incorrectly. They are backwards, and that was done by the manufacturer, and the city never requested they be properly put in. So those dasher boards are actually a danger to the youth that play hockey in that facility. If you need an explanation of why, we did include some pictures as to the ledge on the edge that when you're checked, your body goes sideways and flexes over that edge and increases the chance of injury depending upon your age, anywhere from 8-year-olds to 18-year-olds, depends on where that edge hits you. The subsurface piping, it's 50 years old, can crack at any time. We started off with an envelope of a structure that needs work. If the roof and everything over top of it is not of sound construction, then there's no reason to do anything underneath it. So our theory was you start with the building itself, make sure it is sound, and then you work your way down from there. The ice, the refrigerant, the cooling system, everything is done there is one big envelope that should be done consistently together because they all interact together. Everything relies on one another. It was brought up to us by someone who does ice services that a sand base would be a cheaper alternative. Those of us that have been involved in a sand-based system know that yes, it's cheaper, but the maintenance is higher, and what you would have to restructure within the facility to use that, we didn't feel that would be the proper way to go, just to put a sand base over top of the concrete. You can learn more as you guys and ladies, and I'll go back and forth, get into how that facility runs. And my recommendation is any of you that have never been down there, please go down there and ask for a tour. Learn what we're talking about. Those of us that I spend 5 days a week down inside that facility, and I've been down there for 22 years. I'm very familiar with it, but I know a lot of people aren't. I know what looks to need to be done down there. The gutter system on the upper roof is an issue. The way it drains off that building causes the building to flood, both inside what we call the warming room, which is the area that has main heat in it, not ice. They consistently have water flow through the ceiling and into that facility when we get heavy rains. On the outside upper area, the city has had to put what they call a French drain system in to catch the water coming down from the upper side as it flows down and underneath the building and into the building from the ground area. So it's just not above, it also comes from down below. We then once we went through what the big things were, which is the basic, keep the facility up and running, we were then said, what are the things that you guys think would be the next step and what to put in there? So that's when we then went through that list of, okay, if we're going to do it and we're going to do it huge, what would we like to have in there? So that was our next portion of the list. We understand that not everything on this list is possible, but we were asked to give you everything that all 5 of us feel would make this an optimum facility. The rubber mats on the floor, those that spend anywhere from $400 to $800 on a pair of skates, and you walk around the facility, you step off the edge of a rubber mat or you step on a screw. Smell of hockey gear, it gets to be rather intense. The locker rooms have no ventilation inside of them. There's no way to exhaust air outside of those locker rooms. It can be pretty nasty in there. So just basically getting ventilation into those systems was something that we asked for. That facility, being 50 years old, has a definite handicap accessibility issue. And I believe the mayor found that out when he tried to visit the facility. He had to be brought in a side door that was wide enough for him to get into. There's nothing but steps on the front of the building, an elevator that is not large enough for him to. Upgraded to current standards. Energy efficiency. The building is a 50-year-old building. There's no insulation in the main ice area. The costs to cool that rink are a big portion of the operating costs. So we suggested that finding a way to do a better job of stopping the airflow in and outside of that facility would greatly improve the operational ability and cost factor of that facility. There are no designated locker rooms for male and female. Hockey teams are co-ed teams all the way up through, they can play co-ed teams all the way up through U18s. I don't know of too many parents that would prefer to have their sons and or daughters changing together in a locker room. All the new facilities offer a gender-specific locker rooms so that one group can get dressed and the other group can get dressed and they join each other before they get on the ice. With the locker room system at the current facility, one group is asked to go into the restroom or they actually change out in the public areas so they can get their equipment on. Referees' locker room, the referees that get paid to referee the games there basically change in a closet. It was originally designated as closet. They threw a couple chairs into it, threw a heater into it, and that's what they used to change in and out of. A little disconcerting to try to get 4 to 6 referees into a small closet so they can change as they come and go for games. As the COVID restrictions have gone on, there is reduced usage of the facility right now by the numbers that are allowed to be in there. But the facility, they're doing a wonderful job of maintaining it and keeping it open. And we do appreciate the staff that works in there. If you have any questions of me of what we've done or what we've looked at, by all means, I'll be happy to answer. I know whatever you need, Mayor.
Hey, first and foremost, I would like to say to you, Bill, and to the entire ICE task force, thank you so very much for taking the time and effort to put together this report and to bring it back to us. We do appreciate you putting in that effort and being able to share with us those things that we can take a look at as a council as we move forward with that. So I know some of the other council members may have comments or questions, but I think I speak on behalf of all of us when we say thank you so very much for your commitment, you and the task force, for going in and doing these things and for helping to prioritize them as you saw it. So we do appreciate that. Having said that, if there are any other council members who would like to ask a question or have a comment, please feel free at this time. Just let me know. Council member, Mayor Pro Tem, actually, Waffle, I saw your hand go up.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to be really quick and brief in my remarks and say to Bill and to Andrea, as the leadership of this task force and committee, and to the rest of the group, that we really do thank you guys, right? A lot of people don't know behind the scenes the amount of work you guys put in week after week after week, really trying to come up with a recommendation we can move forward with as we head into this next budget cycle. In my opinion, it's going to be critical that we obviously get this done, right? The ice rink is such a treasured thing, right? It's something that is in District 3, and it's really important to not just residents here, but residents across the city and across the area. And so whatever we can do to kind of get this to, obviously you mentioned this is an old building, whatever we can do to get this into a better place, a more functional place, and kind of have a level of vibrant activity happening, I think it's going to be appreciated and needed. So just wanted to thank you guys for your work.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Anyone else would like to comment?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilwoman Harrison, then we'll go to Council Member Wolfley.
Okay, I know I did hear Dufour say something earlier, so but my comment is quick, and I also want to echo the sentiments of the mayor and Mayor Pro Tem that we appreciate the work of the task force, and we know that a lot of time and effort went into it, so much appreciated. My question is, I guess I don't know if city manager can answer this. In regards to putting some numbers to the list of priorities, because I just would like to see kind of what the cost would be for some of these priorities listed above the secondary piece, but the pressing issues that he lists. Outside of the second sheet.
Oh, boy. Damn it. We're jinxed here.
Was that just a request that they put that together?
Well,
I just want to know what the next steps would be to get the numbers in regards to those requests.
City manager.
Well, Mr. Mayor, we've got a lot of data associated with this this ice rink, and we should have quite a bit without going on and spending more money. We might be able to come up with some numbers using the data that we have from the previous assessments we did of the ice rink.
Right.
So we'll do that and parallel that with our standard budget procedures. What we plan to do for the budget, I mean, generally speaking, is to certainly put enough money in there to continue to maintain the facility. But you know, it is what they told us. We certainly already knew.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay. Appreciate that.
Thank you. Council Member Wolfley, my apologies if I talked over you a little earlier.
no problem at all. Technology is what it is. It's not an issue. No one takes offense today. Just a couple of things. First of all, I too want to thank everybody who spent a significant amount of time and effort on this project. I know that there are a significant number of people in the ICE community who are spending an inordinate amount of their time around the ICE arena, and they can provide a lot of insights, and we certainly do appreciate their input. And I think it's absolutely fantastic that we had the level of support that we saw from the committee. That having been said, just a couple of things here. Some of the things that stood out, obviously, that we've seen and heard about before. The roof, the ice equipment, the HVAC. I think those were all things that we've heard before, and certainly need to be prioritized and put on some sort of a life cycle. At some point, they all need to get addressed. And I heard the comment, I think, made earlier about perhaps having the roof done first, and that may be a good idea, I don't know, but it certainly sounds smart to me. The rest of, I think, the equipment is on service contracts, so we can, I think, eke out some extended life on those things while we start tackling some of the more pressing issues. So thank you for all of that. To Councilman Harrison's commentary about the budget numbers, I think that's important. For example, there was commentary made about slabs versus sand, and I think the real question is, is the savings really meaningful? Is it 50% savings with a 10% diminution of quality? Or is it a 10% savings and a 50% cut in quality? So, I think that some of those things will need to be reevaluated. Obviously, if it's the former, it may be one answer, and if it's the latter, clearly, it doesn't make any sense to go saving 10% to have a significantly diminished quality. And one thing I've heard from ICE community across the region is that facility is exceptionally well maintained. I hear about it from people as far afield as Virginia. I've spoken to them or run into people. ICE people tend to be vocal about what they're interested in, and so I learn about things from not just our own staff and from our own residents, but also from across the region. And it's well regarded and well maintained facility, and it's commendable to all those involved that we do so with what amounts to a 50-year-old facility. So kudos to everybody who's involved with that. I am, one comment I will make is that on the issue of the second sheet of ice, I think that's a non-starter going into it. We're, I think, in a point where we need to look at how we program the existing ice, and I think, kind of going forward, to the extent that there's shortages for our citizens, that we ought to prioritize the activities that favor our citizens' interests and activities over those who are coming in from out of town, even if those out of town folks are bringing in revenue. I'd rather lose the revenue from a rental to a non-buoy entity and instead take care of our local residents. And if that's, I think that may be just a top-level change in how we do our prioritization of programming, and not expect that every ICE session is maximized in terms of revenue, vis-a-vis external people and internal. So I think that that's all very, very useful as a background information here, what we've seen today, and I certainly do appreciate it, the efforts that went into it. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilman. Any other members with any other comments or questions at this time?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor.
Council staff, please.
Thank you. I'll just chime in to thank Bill and every member of the Ice Ring Task Force for lending their time. I know you guys had a lot to cover in a short period. This task force represents people who use the facility, spend a large portion of their lives there, and are very dedicated to it. And so we recognize that this report, is a reflection not only of the needs of the existing facility, but of the love and care that so many of our community have for it. And so we're grateful for you taking the time to put this together. I'll echo with what a lot of my colleagues said. I think, as you indicated, Bill, there are certain things that probably are not in our reach fiscally right now. But my priority with this, just speaking on my own behalf, is ensuring that we are making the needed investments to keep this facility going. I think all of us are committed, as we have been despite our disagreements on other issues, to make sure that we do keep ice and buoy, that this treasured part of our recreation portfolio remains. And so we will be working as best as we can to make sure that we're making the upgrades and the changes needed to keep this going. And the fact that you guys have prioritized out, the hierarchy of needs for what the facility requires right now is really helpful to us. And so I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councilman. Anyone else would like to comment at this time? Councilwoman Mdimadu from...
I thought you were going to finish in District 4.
Sorry.
She was like, from, and then there was a pause, and I was like, anything coming next? Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I appreciate it. Thank you so much to everyone who worked on this this great, I guess, list of recommendations. It's phenomenal. Really, really important stuff. So very appreciative. Echo a lot of what Councilman Estep mentioned, and Mayor Pro Tem and Councilwoman Harrison, and not Mayor Dufour. I almost gave you a promotion. Councilman Wolfley. The one question that I would ask for staff when we do dive a little deeper into this, one thing that I would love to have more insights on, I don't know what page this is because they're not numbered, but it's objective number 2, recommendations regarding ideal programming at the current ice rink. The only thing that I would like to see is there's a bullet point that says at the new Iceplex added programming would have included, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. In boldness, it says there is a real need and demand for these expansions and additions. I would love to see if staff has a little bit more data on that to back up that statement, to just really understand why that is bolded in there and saying there's a need and demand for that. I just would like to see the data to support that as we're going into this, because I understand that the committee feels like there's a need, but I just want to see from a numbers perspective, since we have so many residents in our city, how many, what does that need breakdown actually look like? So that's something that I would really like to see. And then I had one more bullet point here on this sheet that, no, I think that, no, that was my my only one, but I would really love to see a little bit more from staff around programming, just because I know the task force didn't really have time to discuss programming. Well, not as much time as you would have liked to discuss programming. So I would love to see a little bit more around programming. If we could have those insights at some point, that would be super helpful. That's all. Thank you so much for the hard work on this.
Mr. Mayor.
Hey, thank you. Thank you, Councilwoman from District 4.
Mr. Mayor.
Have you heard that? Are there any other questions or comments at this time?
Mr. Mayor.
I thought I heard the city manager.
Yes, sir.
Go right ahead.
Oh, we have at least 2 studies that were done on regarding the need for both ice, basketball, and all that. We can certainly produce those studies and get that data to the entire council. And we're going to work on the programming data in the next few days. Thank you.
Thank you so much, City Manager. Appreciate that. Anyone else? Any other comments at this time? Hearing none, again, I'd just like to iterate what you've heard from all of the council members, and I'm sure our citizens as well. We do appreciate all the work that you put into this, and we appreciate you presenting the report to us, and we will take it under advisement, and we'll be moving forward. Hey, thank you again so very much, Bill, and all of the committee. And on that note, thank you again. All right, at this time.
Mr. Mayor, I move to adjourn and move to closed session. To adjourn to closed session under statutory authority of the Maryland Annotated Code, State Government Article subsection 3-305B14. Before a contract is awarded or bids are opened, to discuss a matter directly related to negotiating strategy or contents of the bid or proposal, if public discussion or disclosure would adversely impact the ability of the public body to participate in the competitive bidding or proposal process.
Moved.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. All in favor, respond with the
Aye.
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 Opposed, same favor. Hearing none, motion carries. And I would like to also quickly say thank you to all of the committees and all those folks, particularly the diversity committee for the MLK art contest and the interfaith student representative, all of the different things that went on over the city. I just want to say thank you to all of our citizens, staff, and everyone who participated, and particularly to our youth for their interest and for their artwork and all. And so again, to everyone, please stay safe and have a good evening.